Good morning, good afternoon and good evening. Welcome along to this year's Sofamanager Scottish Football Podcast. It is of course the end of 2017, so that means something a little bit special. And I've been left here at the Sofamanager studios, myself, Paul, to prepare you something a little bit special. So what I'm going to do, whilst Darren, John and Andrew are away drinking at the bar on Hogmanay, is put together a little bit of our kind of best bits for 2017. So over the next hour or so on the Sofamanager Scottish Football Podcast, you're going to relive some of our best moments this year. And what has been quite a packed year for us here at Sofamanager. We've produced over 27 episodes this year and had over 2,000 listens, which is a huge improvement from last year. So thank you very much if you've tuned in, liked and subscribed. It's helped us loads and we've really enjoyed doing it. So thank you very much. We only lost one deleted episode in that time, which might have been slightly my fault, Paul, so I wasn't soup du jour with the rest of the guys. But nearly 1,000 Instagram followers as well. So a real year of progress for us, and it's what has been a really exciting year of Scottish football. It was the year, of course, we saw Celtic's unbeaten domestic record tumble 4-0 against Hearts at the new Tynecastle, and again a very exciting time for them with their new stand opening. And also a year in which we saw our local team Falkirk go from heroes to zeros, finishing second last year, going from league contenders, which we might have predicted, we might have a wee look at that later on, to zeros, just one place away from the relegation zone now. So crazy changes. Another team, however, that's had a very exciting year is Hamilton Academical. Their player David Templeton got the Player of the Month award, and they are clear of the relegation zone going into 2018. Congratulations to them. But perhaps one of the most interesting things to happen to them was, of course, the fraudulent claim that went through at Hamilton, losing hundreds of thousands of pounds. So in this very first clip, in the Best of Sofamanager 2017, John and I discuss where we think that money has gone. I think the biggest news this week was Hamilton, not so academical perhaps, have made a little bit of a blunder in the business department.
Just a little.
Just the entire club's budget for rumours swirling around. They've been sadly hit by a spate of fraud. This has actually been quite common in the SFA of recent times. With, I think, prize money's been paid out to
Rangers.
Well, I didn't. We won't get into that, of course. Stripping of titles and such. So anyway, but it looks like Hamilton themselves have lost in the region of £800,000 to £900,000, which is quite an astronomical amount. I don't know what advert David Templeton's clicked on while he's been using the club account to watch whatever he's been watching, but
who knows?
Certainly quite a big mistake.
It is. I want to know where Hamilton got £800,000.
I know.
Lying in a bank account.
One bank account.
Yeah.
These clubs, I can imagine they're fairly fluid in terms of, money comes in, it goes straight back out in the form of wages to the players, to the equipment and stuff. So, and I know a lot of clubs, are usually have quite large negative bank accounts. So
Exactly.
It's interesting, but and people did laugh and joke about it at the time, but it's pretty devastating to the poor people that.
Well, that's a painful one for Hamilton. You cannot deny that. Who knows what they were thinking though?
I don't know. Other clubs, I think Hearts were hit for a much smaller sum of money. I think other clubs were targeted in the same light, but haven't risen to the bait.
Yep.
So just a wee bit of nous in situations like those, but they seem to be taking it in a good light. The announcer at the weekend playing "Money, Money, Money" by ABBA just before kick-off. So if you don't cry, you laugh.
Indeed.
Is that the way around that goes?
No.
So at least some people in the club are in good spirits. For me, it was quite good to see Hartley seems to have brought in a new regime. There was cones out on the park before kick-off.
They were really into it.
They had all these harnesses that they were. There was equipment.
Somebody's been out with the checkbook.
I know.
I think we found our culprit for this.
Who nicked the Hamilton money? Hartley comes in. I've got a few demands. I know where we'll get this from.
I need a hacker. I need a Swiss bank account.
They don't deserve to be in the Premier League. We shall merely take their money and relegate them.
Indeed.
Well, we'll say no more on that. Our mouths are super sealed. As Rob McLean was saying in the comments. Conspiracy theorists, write in if you think John's onto something there with his Paul Hartley theory. Anyway, moving on to our next clip now, which comes from our Scottish Premiership and Championship preview show, a show which we were really proud of, and we thought actually fixed most of our terrible predictions that have gone by in the past, one of which you'll be hearing about a little bit later. We also predicted earlier on in the season that the one team we expected to reach the Europa League group stages was in fact Glasgow Rangers. The podcast going out a day after they were of course knocked out by Luxembourg Minnows. Progress Niederkorn, so a little bit embarrassing for us there. But anyway, the basis of this clip is the disagreement between us as to who's going to finish in the top six and where. Darren in particular, I think, tries to rile up myself, being a big Aberdeen fan. Johnson, we've already discussed. Who was your fifth place team?
Mine was Hearts.
Hearts. Who was your fifth place?
I'll wait for Hibs.
Hibs. Ooh. We'll come to Hibs a little bit later, I think, since Darren's got them higher as well. Who do you have fourth, Darren?
Funny enough, Hibs.
Hibs.
Hibernian.
Right, okay, there's no avoiding it anymore.
Hearts is fourth.
Oh, right.
You got Hibs as well. It's fourth.
I have Rangers fourth.
No,
Controversial.
I'm not feeling that.
I think I've got Hibernian third. So let's talk Hibs. 'Cause we're in the ballpark. We're in the the three positions. It starts getting tight here though, because these are the positions that matter. You don't buy it.
There's no way Hibs are finishing third. Come on.
Look at the way they played against
Rubbish.
Aberdeen in
Rubbish.
the cup semi-final last
No
year.
way you can base it on that.
Why?
No way.
Is the team better or worse than it was then?
It's about the same.
It's better. It's better.
Yeah, I feel it's better.
If you're having to rely on Effie Ambrose as your centre back, then you're really on a hiding at
They have
nothing.
other options. David Gray can be brought into the middle.
Right back. Pottiker could play centre back. Nah.
Whittaker's been looking good pre-season.
He played one reasonably good game.
I know.
He was very quiet
That's what
against
pre-season
Ross
does,
County.
John.
The
I
reason...
don't
Oh, sorry, John.
Ross County showed exactly how to defend
Oh,
against
she's
Hibs.
interrupted.
Sorry, John.
Oh yeah, no.
So
that
I know.
that in itself showed that Hibs are really going to struggle to break down teams who'll sit in.
What,
And that's points lost.
What can we really take from Betfred Cup games? You know.
I mean, realistically, all of it. Like you can see who's progressed quite well during pre-season and who hasn't.
What's your thoughts, Dan?
Can definitely. Well, I was just about to say, so I think Hibs, obviously it's the first season back, so that's why I never put them any higher than fourth, because I felt, well, first season back, I did think that they'd be higher up than Hearts, obviously with Cathro, but at the same time he'll probably get the sack, so it could be close between the two. But I never had them any higher than fourth because of that reason, really, because it's their first year back, and I think Neil Lennon will do a really good job there. I think they've got a good squad, as you said. I think they've got a better team than last year. So I do expect good things from them, but I feel fourth is the highest that they'll get.
Where did Hearts finish when they got promoted?
Finished third.
Third.
Second.
Am I thinking?
Was it third, yeah?
It was third.
Yeah.
Oh, there was no Rangers in that.
Yes, it was third. There was no Rangers in that league. Oh, Rangers. I've got them fourth. Oh, right them as well. But yeah, I think their signings have been good. Simon Murray. Although I wasn't that impressed with him in the Ross County game, he has been scoring goals elsewhere.
Like I say, County showed exactly how to defend against Hibs. You just sit back. You let them, like, if you limit the space at the back, they can't break you down. They
No,
don't
but
have the
nobody will be able to
capability.
break you down if you do that.
Yeah, exactly. So you just sit back and let
No,
them.
but then if everyone in Scotland did that, it'd be 0-0 draws week in, week out, which
Yeah,
is
but-
what is the Scottish Championship.
But a slightly better side going forward, we will counter. Like County couldn't do that. They struggled, but
I think it's just a strong squad throughout the team, midfield, attack, defence.
I know it was just the Betfred Cup, but Simon Murray, how many goals was it he got? Like 7 in the tournament?
I don't think it was quite that way.
Was it
If
not
you
that
combine
many?
Murray and
Well,
Murray,
it was a lot.
it was like 7.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's not Ian Murray. What is his name?
Fraser.
What?
Fraser.
Fraser Murray.
Aye.
He was actually coming off the bench and scoring quite a lot of goals, so good on him. So I don't think the loss of Cummings is going to be that big a deal to them, actually. Yeah, there's a lot of split opinions as to whether Cummings was actually any good.
he was a good finisher. He was quite a good player. He can't really. One thing that'd be interesting about Hibs though, until the transfer window closes, they've still got the capability of bringing in 1 or 2 more players.
If they get Stokes,
It changes some things. I think he's a better finisher.
Well, he'd get more goals than Murray.
Uh,
I have no doubt
yes.
about that.
Yeah, I think it would.
I still think they need a kind of winger to complement McGinn.
Well, McGinn's been kind of playing in the centre of the park.
Yeah, I mean, Danny Swanson didn't look great. That's what I'm trying to get at. They need someone to kind of link their kind of attacking force going through the middle.
Yeah, I think they need another midfielder.
Yeah, I don't think Swanson's good enough.
Well, I mean,
He was good in a bang average St Johnstone
Yeah.
side, and he stood out, but
he's not necessarily been lighting it up this time around, and is not even really featured in the starting lineup. He's not like one of the first names on the team sheet even.
what I'm getting at here is if Liam Henderson suddenly becomes available at Celtic, that's a perfect fit.
Every possibility. If they
Be a
can
good
twist their
signing.
arm.
Yeah.
Or even Chris Commons, if he comes back from his back
I
injury.
think-
The rumour was that he was going to go there. Yeah.
He said that if or when he comes back, Hibs is where he wants to.
Yeah.
Whether a player that will really propel you up the league, I don't know. But I just think Lennon is a fantastic manager who they're actually very, very lucky to have. Looking at what he did with a Celtic team that was very much underfunded, and he got the great success in their recent Champions League sort of history out of a squad that was basically Championship level, English Championship.
Yeah.
Sorry, is what I mean by that. So in third, shall you say in unison? 3, 2, 1.
Rangers.
Oh, thanks, Darren.
Aberdeen.
You're kidding.
Good man.
You're
That's why,
yeah,
that's
idiot,
why I
Darren,
was
right.
waiting, because I don't want to say in unison,
Get
because I
out
want
of
you
this
to hear
room.
that.
Get out of this room right now. You're having a laugh.
Because I knew you were going to say that, and that's why I wanted to wait and say it.
You're on the wind up.
Because
You're on the wind up.
I think right, read your stats out, right? Go for that.
Right, 2016-17 Aberdeen second, 2015-16 Aberdeen second, 2014-15 Aberdeen second. Do you know where they finished? 2013-14
Last.
third.
Third.
And then 8th in 2012-13. That was banging the rubbish days where we weren't a top 6 side.
Yeah. Well, I just think Rangers will. Yes,
They'll
they're going to
sack
struggle
Cushinya
with.
from day one.
I thought. Well, yeah, I think he'll be away by December, January, and I think Rangers will at last hopefully do the right thing and bring in a decent manager, a Scottish manager, or something like that. And it'll turn around, and I think they will get better.
Depending on who's due better.
But yeah, no, I
Pretty
think
much.
I think Rangers will do better this year, even though at the moment we're looking at Rangers and we're thinking they're playing terrible and they're out of Europe, so on. But a lot of things can change, and I think over the course of the full season, I think Rangers might. Don't get me wrong, I don't think there'll be a lot in it between Aberdeen and Rangers.
I do.
But I'm sure you do. But I do feel that Rangers will just get that second spot and no more
Okay.
this year.
Argument held.
Yes.
A good valid point. What do you think, John? You obviously have Rangers in third.
I have Rangers third. Just.
I have Rangers in third as well. Fourth, sorry.
I think you're kind of off the mark.
I know.
Rangers,
Well,
I
I've
think.
got Hibernian
Yeah, you're
third.
Hibs.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you can,
an unusual position.
doesn't he like Hibs? So yeah, your thoughts on Rangers, John?
I don't think Cushinya will last all that long. I don't think his players will suit Scottish football, especially when the weather gets kind of bad. The pitches get really quite torn up, so that's an issue to kind of look at. Again, I think Celtic will annihilate them, and that kind of brings its own issues from the stands. So yeah, I think they're going to have another kind of almost there season. But following that, if they get a decent manager in around about Christmas time, if and when Cushinya gets the bullet, then there's there is
Not
scope
in Glasgow, you never know.
Well,
I think for me, that squad's not any better than it was last year.
no, that's what I'm saying. Like, they haven't really improved it. They've brought in a lot of bodies, a lot of foreign players that you know nothing about,
Yeah.
and they all look very interesting. But they're third-rate foreign players.
Well, they're looking right.
That's
They're-
an issue.
They're bringing in Ryan Jack, second-rate Aberdeen
Bang
player.
average Aberdeen player.
They're wanting Kenny McLean, who I don't rate
No.
that much as an Aberdeen player. Some
No.
people do, but he's damn
He's
inconsistent
alright.
and
Yeah.
doesn't score half as many goals as he should. They're looking to bring in Jamie Walker. You're telling me Jamie Walker's better than Barry Mackay?
Well,
You
there
know-
is that.
No,
like
he's
that.
not. No.
And they're wanting more money for Walker than Mackay. So
Yeah, that's true.
that's a McDaft decision. The strikers, that was one of the huge issues last year. Is Kenny Miller was the only man that could score any. Waghorn's still there by
Yeah.
some miracle. Again, by a miracle, they got more than £1 million for the man with the head bandage on his head.
It's not Windass, is it?
It's not Windass, who's
It's the other one.
still there. Jeez.
I think he's name there.
His name will come back to me. Joey
Joe
Gardner.
There
Gardner.
you go.
Aye, exactly.
Joey
You just needed a song prompt. You're all big Huns inside. I'll bleep that. So, yeah, I think, yes, they've signed, Eduardo Herrera? I think you'll agree with me there that Darren's being a bit of a joker. I mean, Rangers finishing above Aberdeen, come on. Although I mind you, a better watch. I might be eating my own words come the end of the season, you never know. But I guess that brings us on nicely to our next section, which is the Sofamanager funny moment of the year. So things that made us laugh. We like to think we don't take ourselves too seriously here at Sofamanager, and I myself, Paul, I'm partial to a few wee one-liners every now and then. I think my favourite of this year was why wasn't Fergie performing with the Black Eyed Peas at the Champions League final this year? Because of course the female vocalist Fergie wasn't there, despite the fact that Sir Alex Ferguson was, of course, his nickname Fergie, which I thought was hilarious. Perhaps didn't go down so well. So I think this dictates some new music, actually, to go along with these next few clips. So hope you enjoy. Out there, but I acknowledge just violence. You can't get away from it, especially in Glasgow. Clubs. It's just Partick Thistle and St Mirren amongst the worst.
Oh, terrible. Those Queen's Park hooligans.
Oh, have you been at a Queen? Oof. They don't even let them play at Hampden half the time. It's that bad.
They've got this Yorkshire Terrier wee dog, and he just comes in. A wee ankle grinder.
Oh dear, no, anyway.
Partick Thistle's Great Dane is just
Why are they dogs that's fighting? It's not even casuals,
It's our devil dogs.
They're not like cockfighting and stuff like they do in Thailand with the chickens, where they have...
That's true.
I don't know what you do on a Friday night.
Crossing swords. Anyway.
You played for Inverness, right?
Uh-huh.
And you get to use whatever college or university is in Inverness, use all their facilities.
Mm-hmm.
Now, effectively, you're going to be working with students, right?
Mm.
So when that student...
Oh, I tell you what footballers near students.
Well...
No.
That's a different style of coaching.
Oh, we're going to have different kinds of injuries, coming into football in the near future.
Oh, I kind of wondered how Andy Murray got his hip.
Well, exactly.
But it's work experience for these guys as well.
Oh, what kind of work experience? No, I see what you mean. Partnerships can only benefit, and
Pains me to say it, looking like Chris Boyd, who would just be in the box and wouldn't move.
I spotted in the airport going to their, I think, training camp in Portugal.
For Kilmarnock.
So it was somewhere abroad, I'm sure. Actually, he was hanging about W.H. Smith waiting for his blonde buddy, another Kilmarnock player who I did not know.
Aye.
Truth be told, but, he was eyeing up the dairy milk Oreos. I'll tell you that. I told him, no, Chris, you're chubby enough as it is. But
I'll get yourself a pint.
Aye. But no, I would absolutely agree with that. Over clubs, there's a lot of people at the moment trying to force moves. We hear today that Ousmane Dembele has apparently wrecked Jurgen Klopp's house in Dortmund, which he's renting since he's now at Liverpool.
You should.
Well, I'll clip that, don't worry. Why would you do that? What are you even talking about?
Somebody did that at Falkirk.
What?
I think it was John Hughes.
To try and force a move?
No, he did it to one of the players. I forget who it was, but he did that.
Was that just his sense of humour, though?
I was a
joke.
A prank. It went horribly wrong.
I don't even want to envisage how that was set up. So, what is the power struggle like for clubs versus players? I'll leave John.
Sorry.
But for example, one thing I've been noticing this week is, as I showed you in the car the other day, Andrew, Reggaeton Lento, the new Little Mix song, Reggaeton, has a little reference to Greenock Morton in it. Do you not agree with this at all?
I mean, slightly, yeah, but it's a bit ridiculous.
It's a bit ridiculous?
A little bit.
I don't know. Every day I drive into work in the car, Reggaeton Lento comes on, and I think slowly but surely over time this has just dawned on me that there's a little section in the show, and I'll play out a little bit of a clip now to show you what I mean. But basically, that sounds like Capillo, Capillo.
Well, I used to have that one of the songs, and it was when I was much younger, but it was a song that used to go like Kirkcaldy, Kirkcaldy. I thought it sounded like Kirkcaldy, but it was like Nobody.
Oh no, was that not You Shot Me Down, Bang Bang? It was akin to that.
I think it was. Like, it was close to it, but
I hit the ground, bang bang. It was the bit before that. I think you used to think say
Kirkcaldy, yeah.
Ironically, not a football team though.
But people playing Kirkcaldy.
But do you know why they were called Kirkcaldy?
Not entirely, no.
If anyone had club football 2005, you could get Rangers, Celtic. We had Manchester United.
Yep.
I think you could also get Arsenal, because Highbury was in the game, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like Codemasters' football game at the time. Sadly, no longer a thing. And they had, I think, like Scottish First Division teams, but unlicensed.
Yeah.
So Wraith Rovers would have been down as Kirkcaldy.
Because that was when, what was it? I think Mark Kerr was one of the hottest properties in Scottish football. He had one of the highest potential rates.
Right.
So that was a bit...
I know that he was a big football manager starlet kind of way back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
We were speaking the other day about, players that could have gone to Barcelona, like, because Will Hughes of playing quite well for Watford.
Is it Watford now?
Watford now, but yeah, when he was at Derby, was touted to be the next thing at Barcelona.
Yeah.
But wouldn't it be interesting to put together like an 11, like Tony Gallagher at fullback?
That's completely
the
ridiculous
starlet that was associated. Wouldn't it be interesting to put together like a Barcelona 11?
Yeah.
That looked like that. So no, good club football memories. If anyone remembers that game, do write in because that was fantastic. The only team we could beat, because it was quite a hard football game when we were quite young, was SC Bastia.
Yeah, the French one.
Who were the worst team in the French second division at the time. Who ironically have been promoted since and now hold down a pretty firm place in Ligue 1.
They've got quite a decent keeper, I think. I only know that because of FIFA, but
Bastia, I don't know. I don't know anybody. So, yeah, Reggaeton Lento sounding like Capillo and Kirkcaldy, Kirkcaldy. I still can't quite believe the John Hughes tale of him taking a dump in one of the Falkirk players' shoes. I mean, why would you even do that to your own players? I don't comprehend it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed those Sofamanager funny moments. We're going to look back now to one of our earlier episodes of the year, episode 16, the second episode we did this year. And in this clip, we talk about the lower leagues, and in fact the fastest league in Scotland. Have a wee listen out and you'll see why. And also the problems that David Goodwillie will have when trying to play on a football pitch. Okay, enjoy.
Some stuff and changes started happening in the Championship, for sure.
Oh yeah.
League 2, I think there's only a point between first and second for the winner of that.
League 2 truth be
Yeah, it's like
I'm a Premier League man.
of course.
Premier League purist.
It's our brothers are bleeding.
Are they?
Yep. Oh no, they're not.
Get them Smokies back in the league, you know. This podcast was going so smoothly. All of our facts, info was like bob on.
BBC Sport was too slow to update there.
Oh, we can't even do the BT, yeah.
It's like,
Can I point out that John's the only one in front, like, has a laptop in front of him right now, so the stats should be
it should be there, popping up.
on the
No.
ball.
Fourth for our top, 60 points.
Right.
Arbroath second, 59. And then there's quite a tail off to Elgin and Annan, both on 49.
Good on Annan.
Still in Albion.
Annan, yeah, that's good.
45. Yeah, no, I mean, that the top four in itself is probably quite cut and dry.
So who's going down? Or who's going into playoff?
Cowdenbeath, I would say.
You're kidding. In League 2?
In Bolton League 2.
What's the points in that? There's only a couple of points in
There is
that
only
too.
a couple of points. There's Cowdenbeath on 30, Clyde 9th on 33, Edinburgh City 34. I would say with the three. Like, Berwick is 36, is probably too far.
Yeah, I'd say it's the bottom three.
I'm kind of looking at the record now. Yeah, Cowdenbeath, it's for theirs to kind of for them to catch up. I think Clyde signed David Goodwillie, if I remember right.
Did they?
Last week,
aye,
yeah.
that's right, yeah.
Is he behind bars in between games? Like,
He can only go to the halfway line because he's tagged us.
there we go. Oh well.
That's his excuse for not picking up his man in the box.
I know.
Yeah, Cowdenbeath will probably get relegated.
That's a bad decade for Cowdenbeath.
Oh.
They've just been on the...
Huge.
They know nicknamed like something Brazil.
The Blue Brazil.
The Blue Brazil.
Blue
aye.
Brazil, aye.
You've got either...
Is it Gary Locke, their manager?
Yes,
Is
he got the job a couple of weeks ago. And they actually picked up a little bit. It's the Gary Locke effect. They win the first 3 or 4 games and then it goes
Lockdown relegation.
massively downhill from there and get relegated. But no, so presume it's Cowdenbeath. They'll either play... God, they'll play Bucky, Brora or Cove, who are all on 75 points at the top of the Highland League. That's incredible. I wouldn't fancy any of them really. Especially be trip to Cove. Actually, you could probably stay in Aberdeen and
Yeah, you
that'd be quite good fun. And then it's East Kilbride, definitely. Out of the Lowland League.
How did they do in the end, do we know?
East Kilbride?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they've 72 points, a goal difference of plus 66.
What's their win-loss?
They are 23 wins, 3 draws, 2 losses.
Oh.
So they must have lost our... I'll tell you though, the last 10's like... That's 7 wins and 3 draws.
What's the name of that league again?
The Lowland League, the Ferrari
Ferrari.
Ferrari packaging.
Ignore the packaging.
Yeah.
It's just the Ferrari Lowland League.
Interestingly enough, the Shire are second,
Oh, good on them.
but they're only 8 points behind.
That's crazy.
It is.
They were struggling earlier on in the season. They were kind of mid-table. But then that league's a bit different in terms of like games played and stuff.
I think so. You kind of look through it and you go, there's some bizarre named teams. I mean, Stirling University are 4th, who are managed by the only women in Scottish football to be managing a football team.
Mm.
And
They've
you
got,
have
like Spartans and stuff there as well. Are they not
Aye,
like a youth sort of set up team?
Spartans 3rd, Cumbernauld Colts, Edinburgh Uni, Preston Athletic, who have a goal difference of minus 57. I'm sure Gary told me something about the Highland League. I'm just going to check. It's really embarrassing.
We'll
Aye.
just chat amongst ourselves.
No, here we go. Fort William, right?
Right?
32 games played, 2 games won, 2 games drawn, 28 losses.
At least
Goal.
they got 2 draws.
Wait for it.
Oh no.
For 39 against 130,
130.
which is a goal difference of minus 91.
To be fair,
That must be a record.
a goal haul of 39 goals is not that bad.
A goal deficit of 130 is quite
It's
horrendous.
pretty bad. It shows you their strikers are alright, their defence.
It's like they're just all out attack. It's like,
Yeah, it's literally. And you must look at yourself after a record like that and think,
Fort William for goals though.
yeah, aye. We know where we're going for football next weekend, lads.
Hey,
Why go to Ibrox and Celtic Park? Come to Fort William. Goals galore.
you can climb a couple of hills when you're there as well.
Well,
That's what I was doing today.
that's a good point, actually.
Yeah,
They could package it as like an activity
like
sort of adventure.
watch Fort William get humped and then go and climb Ben Nevis.
So there we go. I hope you got your Fort William season ticket for Christmas, as it seems to be the place to watch football these days, that's for sure. Anyway, since it's half time now on our Best of 2017 podcast, I think it's time for a more relaxed feature. This is a feature I like to call Cringe Chants. So on the podcast, I'm partial to trying to come up with a chant or two every now and then, mainly during Darren's La Liga roundup, actually. Lots of good information there, just to keep us grounded and away from the misery of Scottish football. It's good that we have Darren on the podcast to give us our wee La Liga roundup each week. And this is generally where most of these cringe chants come from. So for example, if you do listen regularly, you might hear us say ooh, ah, Malaga, say ooh, ah, Malaga. Rarely in time, rarely together, but it's one of the chants to come from there. So how we listen, try not to have a cringe attack, as you may have already had several during the podcast, I don't blame you. So here we go, cringe chants. Brings me nicely onto my next story, actually. Liam Henderson, who listeners may not know that well, he is a Falkirk player, not the good former Celtic and Hibs man. He's a Falkirk central defender, youngster, plays for the Development League, and we go along to the Development League games because I do the match announcing and these guys are kind enough to chum me along.
Nothing else to do.
And well, yes, in our boredom, we came up with a good wee chant for Liam Henderson, and like H-E-N-D-O. And then Darren had Lewis Kidd was playing, so
Yeah.
he plays alongside Kiddo.
Kiddo.
And then we had Mark Stowe, so, passes it to Mark Stowe. And the news in the last couple of days, he's leaving for Edinburgh City. So all of our flipping good work, Liam, is gone. No ultras for you at the next Development League game. We had flares, we had banners. It was going to be immense.
Already.
And all gone. So gutted about that, because I do coming up with a new wee chant myself.
I liked it, yeah. They had a 2-1 win at the weekend against Alaves. Simone Zaza with another goal.
Is he not top scorer?
Top goal scorer, yeah, out with Lionel Messi.
I think there was that comment in the week.
Yeah, he said if Lionel Messi gets the award, I'll be asking for the award because it's Lionel Messi.
Yeah, La Liga should have another award excluding Lionel Messi. It's like a fair dues. It's quite funny.
I did that. But he
was rubbish at West Ham.
Oh, he was, yeah.
And just found his feet, so good on him.
No, it's worked out well for him at Valencia.
Zaza.
I think because he's like the main man at Valencia.
Simone.
That'd be a good tune though.
Simone. Get on it, Valencia fans.
But yeah.
It's typical Australian. They've kind of got the kind of spirit and the willpower to do it. It's a bit like America in terms of they'll come out and give 100% and they're all very athletic. Technical abilities.
What was that barbecue song the Americans were chanting?
I love that barbecue song.
What is it, John?
You take the Vindaloo song and you switch out Vindaloo for barbecue.
What barbecue?
Barbecue.
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 Nah, nah. We have to do that at like the Falkirk Betfred League Cup games just to quite literally spice things up. Boom boom.
Today they actually, day of recording, Girona actually beat
mystery.
I know, exactly. Need to keep that mystery. Girona actually got a 2-1 victory over Real Madrid today.
My Girona, never gonna stop giving it. That would be brilliant.
So that is a bit of a shock.
Do you think they know about my Girona in Spain?
I'm not sure. Probably with Sofamanager the ball, yeah.
True. We do have some Spanish listenership, actually.
Yeah.
More than you would think.
But yeah, so that was a surprise score. Real Madrid, I must say, I would never have thought I'd have seen the day that Girona would have beat Real Madrid this season.
They've been drinking my Coronas when they've been going to play football by the sound of things.
Yeah. Isco.
I'm going to have a whole song, by the way, about Girona, Corona, Verona.
Verona, yes.
Verona I talked about last week. So, hopefully you survived through that bit of audio just there. If you think there's been any more cringe moments on the podcast, or there's any chance of your own you'd like to add, feel free to comment below. We love to kind of read and respond to comments. Thank you very much actually to the commenters this year. Gary Cheshire, big Hearts fan, led us on to keeping an eye on Cole Stockton and his rise to nothingness at Hearts. Also Christopher Keith, avid Rangers fan, with some very nice comments. Thank you very much. Jake Wilson in the comments as well, and also a very exciting comment from fellow YouTuber, Rangers man CJ Novo 992. If you've not seen his stuff, you should check out his channel, a really excellent YouTuber. Anyway, getting back to our predictions show from earlier, actually, we're going to look at what we thought would happen in the Championship this year. Now, before you hear this piece of audio, I'd like you to keep in mind that currently Falkirk sit 9th in the table and are about 25 points behind Dundee United. Bear that in mind when you hear this next clip of audio. They beat Queen of the South and then coming on strong towards the end of the season, the Queen of the South were diving. So I kind of expect them to go further this year. I was going to say earlier that a team much like Falkirk, they've kind of kept the core of the squad together and just added kind of one or two bits and pieces.
They've looked okay. Certainly put up a fight against Hearts, but it's not particularly difficult.
Well, you know that Joe Cardle, a good finish from him.
Yeah, I was quite impressed by him actually.
See the boy
in the
on
Hearts
the
game.
bench having Haribos, I think Jack or something.
Oh yeah, that's right. Aye.
He had some Haribos after he provided a pretty good assist.
Peak fitness there.
Miles Hippolyte on his five guys,
and
that wasn't for fast food. Anyway, so yeah, I think Dunfermline building a lot of good momentum there, so I think third is a distinct possibility.
I've got them third, yeah.
So
Up
the big two in unison, finishing second in 3, 2, 1. Dundee
Falkirk.
United.
United.
Are you just saying that now?
No?
Oh.
No.
Who do you have, Don?
Dundee United.
Dundee United, right.
Yeah.
We'll start with Dundee United because Darren's wrong. Yeah, again, it's always the top of the league. You didn't get right, Darren.
Well, I want it to be different for you. So it wouldn't be really interesting, would it? If I went the same as you. So.
That's true. Why?
Thank God. They signed Tam Scobie, enough said. Like,
I think watching that game today.
Yeah.
Yesterday, sorry.
at time of recording.
Yes. Dundee, Tam Scobie was a revelation.
Oh, was it? That's nonsense.
As captain,
Nonsense.
in that first half, he didn't miss a challenge.
He had
He
nothing
was
to do.
good. Yeah.
Nothing.
He challenged so that the guy from
come
Sutton Town, whose name I forget, the winger who's given him quite a lot of jip, tackled him, no bother every time, cleared the ball, looked comfortable at left back. You know, he's a centre back.
The iceberg that sank the Titanic is quicker than Tam Scobie. Like,
Playing in Scotland, isn't he?
In the championship, he'll be fine.
Why are you hating on Tam Scobie? He's one of your own.
horrific.
He's one of your own. And you'll still be chanting that because you don't have any more chance for the Falkirk Bears, at least.
Nah, Dundee United are going to struggle, both financially and on the park.
I don't know. I mean, I've got Falkirk first, right? My one concern with Falkirk is, do they have the mentality of a championship winning team?
Do they have a centre back pairing that can actually work? Is my biggest concern.
Well,
And a right back.
They haven't really been challenged pre-season at all. The Falkirk centre back pairing of either Gasparotto and Grant, or
Watson.
Grant and Watson.
It's a combination of the three.
Younger guy. They haven't really been tested at all, so that defence hasn't really had a great pre-season. You know,
In terms of
getting a
dealing
challenge.
with that, yeah.
And when I saw McMullen today against Dundee, I was like, oof,
He was very good.
they're
Yeah.
going to struggle to deal with someone like that.
Pace is an issue against us, but most defences are like that.
Oh yeah, and that's how you get your glory. That's what Falkirk are going for this season, is more pace.
It's the front four is, if they're all fit for the most part of the season, we've got a really good chance.
Don't get me wrong, I've been much more impressed by Falkirk this season. And I think what impressed me at the weekend was, I think I'm right in saying, John, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, in the Brecon game they had two different strikers playing. It was Miller and who else was up front actually? Austin was injured, so they had Miller and no, it wasn't Shepherd.
Brecon, they had Miller and Loy up front for 65 minutes.
It was Loy, yeah. So Loy was playing still, but it was good to see Miller playing alongside him and Miller scoring a goal.
Yep.
Austin was obviously, I think it was injured. He wasn't in the squad.
Like a rest really for the guy. He's played near enough every game.
And then we've seen Harris coming back into the team, scoring a goal, and he's assisting too. So I think he's actually turned out to be a good signing for them.
Harris, another one of these ones they're looking to discover previous
form.
Yeah.
But there's a bit of young energy in there. I think Loy is almost like a captain of that squad. He just seems to be the motivator, the real kind of catalyst to new things for Falkirk. But you look at the Dundee United signings. Scott McDonald, he's won the league before. Who's the Hibs forward?
Keating.
Keatings. Yes, James Keating won the league before. McMullen used to play with Celtic.
That was the only reason why I picked Dundee United. And at the same time, I knew you two would pick Falkirk, so I thought I wanted to have something different. But I do think they've got a strong enough team there to win the league.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely a possibility.
They have got quite a good squad there. Quite how it'll pan out, I don't know. That's the big if.
There's bigger names than the Falkirk team have. Scott McDonald.
Oh, in terms of Dundee
is
United,
probably
yeah, absolutely.
more familiar to more people in Scotland.
They're more established players, shall we say.
But they've kind of employed kind of Premiership players almost. Something that
they're going for it, and that is a huge risk. There's a huge pressure involved in that. Quite whether they can manage it, I don't know.
We'll see how it goes.
I mean, if they pull out like a Tony Andrew, then I completely change my mind. Falkirk will finish second. But if we sign Sibs, well, that changes everything. Like,
I don't think you use Sibs though. We'll wait and see. Dundee United Yeah, maybe not taking any betting advice from us. That's the only tip I think I'm allowed to give you. Falkirk having a pretty poor start to the season, not quite as we predicted. But who would have thunk it? Sticking with the Championship a little bit now. I'm a big fan of Baldy midfielder Morton Gary Harkins, and I believe he was a very athletic man. Much to the bemusement of my co-hosts Andrew and John, who in this next clip like to disagree with me full-heartedly. And this is actually from a Christmas special, so leads on nicely into some of our ideas for what Christmas gifts to buy the Scottish football fan. So enjoy the Christmas clip. I know they were describing Gary Harkins on the radio as the white Claude Makalele.
To be fair, he's nothing like Claude Makalele. He was
huge. He was a boss against Falkirk the other week. He's huge, but he's an absolute controller of the game.
Oh yeah, like there's always it's like how you get like a Sunday league footballer. Like there's always like one fat boy that just magically can play football.
He's not a fat boy.
Yes, he puts his weight
a fat boy. No, he doesn't. What are you talking about?
He is fat.
He's like hammy.
He is quite chubby.
He's not quite chubby.
He is.
He is no Chris Boyd.
You're trying to... Well, he's about just as
belly
beefy.
dancer.
Really funny picture of him celebrating the day, rubbing his belly and stuff like that. But, and his Brecon put up a very, very valiant fight against St Mirren to lose 2-1.
Good.
So they go into a crunch match against Falkirk next Saturday.
It's a relegation 6-pointer.
But with Falkirk's game being postponed, they're playing up in Inverness in midweek.
Well, if that happens.
This could be a chance for
going
Brecon's
ahead.
first 3 points of the season, I think.
Oh, no doubt, even if we weren't playing in Inverness on Tuesday.
So that'll be very interesting to see. We obviously saw in League One as well, top of the table match-up. Well, not quite, but Wraith Rovers were against Adrionians on the telly on Sunday. So... what was the full-time score there? I know it was 2-1 going into half-time.
I've no idea.
2-1 going into half-time. I must admit the quality of that looked alright compared to what we see week in.
I'm surprised.
Airdrie scoring some actually quite good goals. It's a great stadium they have.
Oh, it holds like 10,000 people.
Why is that? Like who?
They were close to getting promoted round about the time they went into administration.
Right. Crack
So
stadium.
that was a requirement back in the day.
I don't know why Alba decided to broadcast it on a Sunday night though.
No, that's kind of daft.
In -7, but these plastic pitches seem to be holding up to the weather all right.
Yeah, well, that's what they're designed for. They're all weather pitches.
So are they a bit better in the cold than grass?
Aye, I think
100%,
it's easier to kind of clear off the snow and
Right.
Kind of brush it off.
yeah, and you'll not have the frost underneath into the dirt,
Right.
which is good for, well, you don't need to hope for the grass to grow type, which is an issue for...
One thing I was thinking when I was watching that is like, should they, start mixing it up a bit, get some different colours on the field and...
No, that's just ridiculous.
Why?
Like, that would just be really annoying.
Why?
Because imagine watching football on a blue pitch.
Well, to be fair though, I was sitting watching Augsburg against Hertha Berlin before we came out for recording, and they, instead of having white lines, they had like kind of dug in, so it was like...
Oh, the burned.
It was like burned lines rather than... So when it started snowing, you could see the lines a little bit.
I hate these burned lines. That's what we used to play on at school. It was the old burned...
Herbal ashes.
Aye. Well, I don't know. Mix it up. Because they do it at rugby and stuff. They get like the sponsorship on the field and stuff.
Yeah, but football's already corporate enough.
I don't know. I'd like to see some funky patterns that messes with the player's head. It would help at Falkirk. have some like running lines for them. This is the goal. This way.
Just have the tactics that went out on the grass.
When they can't remember. You over there is an arrow.
Just draw boxes.
Pass.
Footballers cannot operate without like cones and...
No.
I would love to be a cone salesman. They must make so much money in football. Absolutely insane. But, speaking of selling and buying things, to our title feature this week.
Yes.
What we would buy or our best tips for Scottish football fans' Christmas.
For that rival fan in your life.
Yes, so I think we'll fade up some background Christmas music, which Paul will find and post and give himself much more work to do. And let's just go back and forth, John, with a few of our ideas here.
Right then. So,
Andrew, feel free to chip in. I know you've contributed to this a bit later on. So, see what your what's your number one, John?
well, I mean, this is one for the Jambos, from a Hibs fan.
All right,
They would definitely want to give them a permanent safety certificate.
a permanent safety certificate. Why would that be, John?
All for the new main stand.
Some new fire alarms that maybe don't go off before kick-off. Oh dear, that's a disaster. I've got one. It's a Rangers branded dictionary and thesaurus to translate future statements from
Nice.
the board. I think that could be very helpful. Very, very helpful.
Well, the Celtic fans could always give Rangers a PSG abacus.
Oh yes.
Count off how many their goals have
Yes, how
conceded.
many goals conceded. I think Celtic fans are good one. A referee's whistle to blow to give them a penalty at their discretion.
Opportunity.
Their discretion, yeah.
Well, another one for Rangers would be a cardboard cutout of Derry McInnes.
Cardboard
for the Aberdeen
cutout.
Life size, of course.
In the style of our Mean Girls thumbnail. Something along those lines. I've got a St Johnston branded sat-nav, complete with traffic avoidance for Ricky Foster and Michael O'Halloran, who missed last week's game due to a traffic incident. That could be quite helpful for them.
A subscription for the Met Office.
A subscription would also be quite good. Oh dear.
We're talking about travels. Dunfermline could get Falkirk a Michael Portillo British Railways journey round the seaside leagues.
Why the Michael Portillo thing? I think that needs
this
to
is
be
brilliant.
explained.
Some of the stuff on if you went to some of the forums, Michael Portillo memes. Like Choo Choo Relegation Express.
Why? Oh, so they've only picked Michael Portillo because of his classic railway journeys documentary.
Absolutely
Goodness
brilliant.
sake, that's a bit far fetched. I'm trying to think of another one for me. We've got a Falkirk scarf, not only to warm your neck but to cover your eyes during the game as well.
Nice.
At only $15.99 from the club store.
The Falkirk are receiving, they could be giving Dunfermline some thicker skin.
Oh right. Oh no. Where are you going with this? Oh no.
No, I'm not going to mention the pirate costume.
Right. Okay. Oh, brilliant. All right. Okay. Sofamanager appearing at the SFA tribunal next week.
That's fine.
4-week ban.
I'm sure they would respond giving Hip like a sign for from Tom Daly.
Oh dear, oh dear. Another suggestion I have: $3.99 this would cost.
Oof.
It is a Tinder Plus subscription for the Glasgow Rangers, so that they won't have to spend the Christmas season without a man, a jar. That could be good for them, I think. By the way, if anyone has any of their own suggestions, do write in.
By all means, tweet us.
We'd love to read them out next week. You know, what's your comedy suggestions for?
They're probably better than ours, that's for sure.
Not hard to be. Dear, do you have any more, John?
No, that was pretty much it.
No, pretty much it.
As much as I could think of.
Got the Dundee Football Club for only £15. The camouflage scarf, so you can blend in at the bottom of the league table.
Nice.
To be fair to them, they actually do a really cool thing where it's like donations to like SAFA, that army charity. So you know their third kit's like that camouflage thing.
Pretty cool.
It is quite cool, and it's for a good cause. So joking aside, it's a very nice thing.
Aberdeen could have got Dundee a case of 7-Up from last season.
Oh yes, after beating them 7-0. I've got a Dunfermline bib for the dribbler on your family. $3.99. That's one of the cheaper ones on the list. Oh, for the Glasgow Rangers fan, you can actually buy some Celtic cycling gear, so that you can cushion that chafing. £35, and this is actually a thing. You can get Celtic branded cycling gear.
Wow.
You know, I'm sure there are big cyclists in the East End of Glasgow. I don't know what they're cycling from, mind you.
Or if it's on their own bike.
Yeah, on their own bike. I'm not their own. So you can represent Celtic. A lot of golf merchandise and things I noticed actually looking about.
No balls though.
Well, no, you can get gloves, everything.
All clubs, no balls.
Aye. Ba-dum-dum. I think my personal favourites of the Christmas gift there was definitely the Celtic Abacus for counting the goals that PSG scored, and probably the Tinder Plus account for Rangers. You know, trying to steal Derek McInnes, my manager. How dare you do that? Anyway, always about this time of the podcast, or most of the time, we try and have a little bit of a quiz. So, for this week's special 2017 episode, I've gone through and tried to pick what I thought was one of the better quizzes. And if you're a regular listener, you'll know that I'm quite keen on putting together a wee FIFA quiz, because it's relatively easy to do, the stats are quite easy to find. So, what I've gone for is one we did in around about October time, I believe, with regards to the Scottish Premiership FIFA rating. So myself, Paul, was asking the questions to John, and he was to try and guess some of the better statistics, or even worse, the worst statistics of the SPFL players in FIFA. Cool! So this week, celebrating the release of FIFA 18 as we do every year, I've got some statistics to quiz you on, John.
Cool.
So, who are the 3 fastest players in the SPFL, according to FIFA statistics?
The SPFL? Whoa, what?
Well, the Scottish Premiership, sorry.
Yeah, Sinclair.
Correct. 91 pace, 77 overall.
91 pace.
91 pace.
Holy
Second fastest in the league.
Who's quicker than him?
Oh, that's for you to guess. Ding, 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 ding. Give me another name.
Griffiths.
Wrong answer.
Forrest.
Yes, third fastest in the league, 91 pace, 74 overall rated.
So who's quicker than Sinclair?
Wasn't he on the park at the weekend?
Does he play for Celtic though?
Nope.
He does play for Celtic.
Sitting in the stand.
O'Hara?
O'Halloran.
O'Halloran is the fastest player. You're talking nice.
93 pace,
No way.
66 overall. So, who's got the highest physical? Right, good luck with this. Who's got the highest physical stats? One of them's quite obvious. Defender. Best defender statistically in the league.
Play for Celtic as well then.
No. Rangers.
Oh, Bruno Alves.
Bruno
Alves will be
Alves,
the strongest.
85-78. Right, I'm going to give you some clues.
Okay.
You might catch this when fishing.
What?
What type of fish? Come on.
Trout? Salmon?
Trout? Who's Trout in the SPFL? Anyone named Trout and you play Scottish professional football, give us a shout. Yep, Salmon.
Connor Salmon.
He's got the third highest physical, 84, 65 overall. Right. The top physical in the league.
So it has to be
And
more.
I wouldn't call them curtains, but I might call them
Oh, Draper?
Ross Draper, 85 physical. I would not have expected you to guess
He
that.
played for Ross County.
Yes, former Inverness man.
Jesus.
So now we go to the slowest in the league.
Cut Broadfoot.
Nope.
No?
You're close with Kirk Broadfoot though.
Chris Buck.
No.
Boyd.
No. You're in the right team, but you've named all the wrong folk.
Who else is really slow to come on it?
Who might play alongside Broadfoot? Top. Fifth.
Oh, the name's on the tip of my tongue.
Gordon
Greer.
Greer. 30 pace, 67 overall. The other two are centre backs, I'll tell you. For different teams.
30 pace.
The top guy's got 23.
Wow. Who's even slower than that?
Well, I'll tell you, the guy with the slowest pace was able to outrun Stevie May
In the weekend.
when we saw him.
Also play for Hearts.
Mm.
The Irish guy.
Oh.
The Irish guy.
Oh.
Was it Aaron Hughes?
Aaron
Is that his
Hughes.
name?
23 pace, 71 overall. The other man actually has the highest FIFA rating card in the SPFL.
Ooh, Carrie Anderson.
Connie Anderson. 30 pace, 70 overall. Now got a 78.
His pace is 32 now.
Yes. Next question. Team with the most potential. So what I did was I looked at the first page of the highest potential players in the SPFL and picked out, apart from Celtic, because it's obviously Celtic, which one has the best potential?
It'd probably be Rangers.
No.
Is it not? Aberdeen now?
No. You'll be amazed by this. Kelly.
Oh dear.
Kelly had like 5 players that have got like a potential of 74 or more.
That's
Yeah.
curious. We feel youngsters, that's
Yeah, fully good youngsters. So, last question. Who's got the best skill moves in the Scottish Premiership? There are 2 players in the league with 4-star. Everyone else has 3 or less.
Sinclair will be one of them as
Nope.
well. Really?
Yeah.
Quite surprised.
We've actually mentioned both of these players in this programme tonight.
Oh, terrific. Yeah, that doesn't help at all.
Alawa, Arbroath.
Albany?
Have we mentioned 5? I only remember 4. Oh yeah, we did mention 5.
Mentioned both of them already, so it can't be Christie.
Nope.
Forrest?
Nope.
Griffiths?
No.
Nah, it'd be terrible.
I think too high here.
O'Halloran?
Nope. Similar player.
Who else have we mentioned?
One of them's Aberdeen, one of them's Hamilton.
Mackay Stephen?
Yep. GMS, 4-star.
And in Hamilton?
Tricky winger.
Did Hamilton have a tricky winger? The only one I can even remotely think of is Templeton.
Templeton.
Templeton has a...
4-star skill rating.
Who is watching this?
I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, some of it. I mean,
That's...
O'Halloran is quite fast, to be fair.
Not 97 fast.
93.
93 fast.
It can't be a
Right.
Jets.
So that's quicker than Aubameyang.
No.
Yeah.
No. Aubameyang's got a 97, wasn't he?
Aye, in the inform.
All right.
I'm sure his base card's like
Right.
Less than that.
I don't know. Right in on a postcard. Because it's the 3 fastest players are Aubameyang, Bale, and Mane, is it not?
Aye, man, he's going 94.
Yeah. So Harlan's
He's roasting.
in there mixing it with the best.
Atsu's going 92. 'Cause that's
What,
what
Newcastle, Atsu?
yeah, 92 pace.
Well,
Yeah, I think his acceleration's terrible, but
how's that make any sense?
I don't know. If you start him at one corner and you run him in the other corner, apparently
He keeps going. It's like space. You just continue accelerating. So that rounds off our quiz this
Yay.
week. That was quite good fun, actually. Did alright there. So, to round off our best of 2017 review, we have saved the very, very best till last. So, famously on our podcast, John Brown is notoriously bitter and has quite the polarising opinion sometimes. So he tends to go off on rants quite passionately sometimes, I think. Famously, he's often used the Gary Locke effect. He's not a great advocate for things like summer football, or football tourism is actually something he's quite famously angry about as well. But I have saved the very, very best rant of the year, and that was a rant about his Christmas dinner on his Christmas night out. So sit back and enjoy this grumpy old man style sort of rant. Anyway, to the big one. Paul remained sober at his Christmas night out. Darren got fairly drunk but still had a good time. John, where were you at on the scale?
I'm on a 2-day hangover.
Paralytic, so he was.
Oh dear.
Oh,
I
was
think
it
he's got to collapse any time.
Red Lion Hotel or something you were at?
The Golden Lion. I have a bun to pick with those buggers.
Now's your opportunity, John.
Right, okay. I never bothered with your starter because, quite frankly, there was nothing I would rather have. You're either having some mental soup or melon. And
Melon?
Melon, lovely.
Oh, that'll be for the vegetarian.
mass created melon. Oh my god. It's just, you just don't go there.
So did you go for the soup?
Well, I went for neither.
Alright,
Neither and either.
no starter.
I had tomato soup, it was very nice.
Yeah, I enjoyed
Wished
my
I had
soup.
tomato
too.
soup. I wanted like a kind of beef broth or a veggie soup, Ken. Nah.
You're very particular.
It was fine though
You
because
should have got them to help you.
I was getting a turkey dinner. And I cannot describe how buzzing I was on getting my turkey dinner. Here it comes. A terrible wee bit that I don't know what part of the turkey it came off. It was not the breast. They had hollowed it out somehow and stuffed it through with stuffing. Stuffing was mince. Oh, it was awful.
See, I had stuffing with my turkey dinner, and the stuffing was nice, but it wasn't the colour of like traditional stuffing.
It was grey.
Yeah, mine was kind of.
Mine was pretty bad.
Mine was kind of it almost. I thought it was the turkey. It was like that kind of colour.
No, I just thought it was part of the turkey.
My stuffing was bad too.
The roast
Turkey
patties
was it?
were lucky if they had hit the pan. Right? The Yorkshire pudding wasn't cooked.
No
right?
crispy.
I'm
Aye.
looking, they just put pastry and went, that'll do. Put some cranberry sauce. Granted, the cranberry sauce was quite nice.
Victory.
Right. Then we come to the really annoying bit. One, pig and blanket.
Just
It
the
must,
one.
have, it must have been really quite cold actually because there was no bloody blanket.
Oh, it was just a pig.
No bacon on my chipolata.
That is terrible.
That's
I
a
think that is the biggest offence.
that's a cardinal sin. You should
That's-
just be shut down for
That's
that.
a no.
That is the best part about Christmas is pigs and blankets.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
I was just like, what's this?
Did everyone else have like bacon on their pigs?
Yes,
They
just
did.
me.
It's obviously been some Dunfermline fan that's listened in to the Sofamanager Scottish Football podcast and clocked.
There's a John guy.
I've
because
heard
you-
his voice.
It's because you never took the melon, John. That's
Should have took the melon.
Oh, John takes all the melons he can get hold of.
I've never been more angry in my life. It just gets thrown down in front of you and you're like, what the hell is this?
So the evening starts, but what did you get for dessert?
Cheesecake. Cheesecake was quite nice.
After all that.
Nobody ate their cheesecake. I had about 4 slices.
See, we had profiteroles with like some toffee sauce.
Aye, what?
Well, aye.
This was the blandest cheesecake you could find. I like bland cheesecake, so
Right.
it suited me. It's supposed to be white chocolate. I was like,
Well, my problem
that's just not white
is if you're
chocolate.
going to have profiteroles, like chocolate sauce, need toffee sauce. Like, what
Oh,
is...
that's okay.
It was alright, but
If you're
like...
going to have, but chocolate sauce, maybe, but
Aye. I don't know.
at least you got sauce.
Yeah, well, aye. Saucy, where...
No bacon.
I would have been furious. Absolutely
I would
furious.
have been raging.
So the meal started badly. So John's already in a bad frame of mood.
Yep.
Or frame of mind.
Well, June start. It's the same as yourself. It's kind of
Set the scene.
cheesy 90s stuff. And I was like, if they're going to play cheesy 90s stuff, maybe they'll branch back into the 80s. Maybe we'll get some beautiful Sunday in the Slosh going.
Oh, that would have been good.
Nah, it never happened.
Oh, next problem. Amarillo was played.
Yes.
Right?
Oh yeah,
Brilliant.
I was supposed to.
Cover version.
Oh, was it?
Cover version.
There's a
Amarillo.
cover version?
There's a cover. Well,
Wow.
it's not. When I say a cover version, I mean like a cheap knockoff band.
Oh, royalty free.
Aye, pretty much. And I was like, you've played like every original version of the night. The one for the
one
Falkirk.
song,
Aye.
Nothing
So
there.
that was a personal issue.
The DJ was quite good actually.
Was he?
He took all the requests to anything we requested they would put on.
Our request. People were going up to the DJ with like, because you can't like write some now because it's like pitch black. So they're going up with the phone.
Yeah, we were a bit like
the
that.
brightness.
Play this.
Yeah, a technique I didn't know before. I've got it on Spotify. You just need to plug it in. I've got it on Spotify. Has anyone got fag? That was the gist. Sorry.
Aye. But other than that, it was quite good. Watched a few people fight in the Stirling McDonald's.
Nice.
Never seen that before.
It used to happen in the one in Aberdeen all the time.
Thought that was standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, got the train home, I think. And I've been suffering ever since.
Don't remember much else for the night. I think that's why the story dropped.
Yeah, I don't remember
waking
most
up
of the night.
I remember waking up at 4 in the morning, hugging the pan.
Oh my god.
And then to see me again about 11 o'clock in the morning.
A good night out had by all, in which case. Good
Oh
night.
dear.
Was it just yourselves or was there other fun? Well, that rounds us off for 2017. I hope you've enjoyed this best of podcast. I think I certainly have. Thank you so much for listening, especially if you've got this far. I think some New Year's resolutions for 2018. We'll continue trying to upload the podcast as regularly as we can. We'd also love to get more people involved, so to hear more about different clubs, so more about your individual club and more kind of input from commenters and things like that, and maybe even some experimenting with some video down the line, so we'll see how that goes. Anywho, I think it is time for me to go and join the boys at the bar to celebrate Hogmanay New Year, so have a very, very merry 2018. I wish you all the best of luck, and we shall see you there. Thanks for listening, guys. Enjoy.